I've sealed the deal, man. It's all thanks to me. Now I get that $10 million incentive.
As soon as I returned from my sales rounds, Cody said something unbelievable. Apparently, while I was away, Cody had gone ahead and closed the deal I had been negotiating so carefully. The negotiation had been tough because the other party wouldn't budge on the conditions. How on earth did he manage to finalize it so quickly? When I took the contract from Cody and checked it, I smirked as I realized the reason. With those terms, Carter Trading Company is in for a big mess. But since Cody signed the contract on his own, it's no longer my concern. Thanks a lot, man. Now I can quit without any regrets. I sarcastically thanked Cody for taking over the negotiation I had wanted to wrap up quickly. The president had personally assigned this negotiation to me. But since Cody took over, he is now the responsible party. I'm not Cody's supervisor, and I didn't instruct him to do anything. He acted on his own, so I bear no responsibility for this issue. Since I've already submitted my resignation letter, I will hurry to leave, anticipating the trouble ahead. And after I resign, Carter Trading Company will go into an uproar because of the contract Cody signed. Eventually, this issue will lead to the discovery of various problems, and Cody will end up in a terrible situation. I'm David Turner, 43 years old. I'm a sales representative at Carter Trading Company. I haven't been particularly skilled from the start. Since joining the company, I've failed multiple times, often having to apologize to my clients. However, I've always reflected on what went wrong and tried to learn from my mistakes. Whenever I encountered something I didn't understand, I asked my superiors for guidance or studied sales techniques in my free time, steadily working hard. As a result, my sales performance is now among the top in my department. As a seasoned sales senior member, I've been approached by junior colleagues for advice, and even our president has entrusted me with important negotiations. My achievements have caught the eye of other companies, leading to jobs offers. Thanks to my 20 years of effort, I've visibly seen my performance and treatment improve. I was delighted and wanted to continue honing my career. However, recently, I've been increasingly pestered by a colleague who has changed his attitude, leaving me feeling frustrated.
Come on, David. Let me handle that negotiation. Please, man.
That's how Cody Smith approached me. He joined Carter Trading Company with me as a new graduate. His sales performance is average, neither good nor bad. He used to have better sales performance than me, but it hasn't improved much since we joined. So now my results are far better. When we joined the company, Cody never really talked to me, and we didn't interact much. But recently, for some reason, he's been talking to me more, always asking me to hand over my negotiations. I frown, feeling annoyed by Cody's behavior. It's not impossible to hand over my negotiation, but it's not something you do without any reason. Usually, the person who secures a contract continues to handle it until the end, as this earns the client's trust. Cody, with 20 years of sales experience, should understand this. So why is he suddenly saying such things? Maybe Cody has started to worry recently about his stagnant sales performance over the past 20 years. Still, thinking that he can get someone to hand over their contract instead of putting in the effort is just wrong.
Come on, you've already got great sales. Handing over one deal won't knock you out of the top ranks.
That's because I've been diligently doing sales rounds, reaching out to various stores and companies. I've never gotten a deal handed to me. Before you ask for someone else's contract, why don't you try reaching out to different companies yourself? I suggest to Cody, the reason I've been able to boost my sales performance is through my hard work, making calls, and running around to different companies. Handing it over out of kindness doesn't feel right. and it would be disrespectful to the client. So Cody should try putting in the effort himself before asking for someone else's contract. That might improve his stagnant sales performance a bit. However, Cody responds to my suggestion by saying,
No way. I'm not cut out for sweating it out like you do.
his lazy words are shocking coming from a salesperson. What the heck? Sales are all about doing the rounds.
It's just too much hassle. Doing the bare minimum to get by is the easiest way.
Sure, there might be some truth to Cody's opinion. Some people prefer to take it easy at work and enjoy their personal life. But that's their choice. And it's outrageous to try to improve your sales by taking over someone else's negotiations. Relying on others to find contracts because it's a hassle is just unfathomable. Seeing his lack of motivation, I sigh.
Come on, just one. You can get another contract, no problem.
So, I should secure a contract and then hand it over to you?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Cody says with a shallow laugh. Despite the trouble it would cause the client, he seemed to feel no guilt about asking for the contract to be handed over. I don't get it. You should be doing sales rounds and securing contracts yourself.
But you never know if you'll actually land a contract, even if you go.
Of course not. That's what makes sales tough. But you still have to go out and visit different stores and companies. This is why sales is considered challenging. Yet even after 20 years, he doesn't understand this basic principle. Thinking you can just leave the rounds to others and only handle the negotiations and contracts is shameless. Finding potential clients through calls and visiting companies is the hardest part of sales. Avoiding this difficult task is likely why his sales performance hasn't improved in 20 years. Sales is tough, but there are incentive systems and performance displays to keep motivation high. However, it seems none of these incentives have motivated Cody at all.
You'd like an easier job too, right? Let's take it easy for once.
His words, showing no intention to work hard, make me sigh deeply inside. Who is this guy trying to steal my negotiations while telling me to take it easy? Right now, Cody is trying to make me work for free. No matter how many times you ask, my answer won't change. I'll handle the negotiations I've been assigned and see them through to the end. So no, I won't hand them over.
Come on, just one. It won't hurt.
Even one deal. I've worked hard to get it. It would be great to do the job easily. But everyone knows it's better to avoid work if possible. However, I've learned that taking it easy at work only leads to trouble later. You can't make up for the time spent slacking off because you hate your job. Thinking how unfortunate it is that he doesn't see others' efforts, I get back to work. When I get back from my sales rounds, I take a moment to relax with a warm drink. The tension fades, and I feel a wave of exhaustion, letting out a deep sigh. Right now, I am negotiating a $10 million deal with Baxter Industries. This is a very important negotiation that the president has personally entrusted to me. I am pleased to be occasionally given such significant contracts by the president. And if I can secure this deal, my salary incentive will skyrocket. With that in mind, I've been visiting the client repeatedly, trying to finalize the contract. Just as I return, exhausted from the negotiations, Cody approaches me.
David, how's the $10 million deal going?
Everyone in the department knows that I'm in charge of this $10 million negotiation. So it's not strange for Cody to ask. But it's not typical to inquire about someone else's negotiation as soon as they return to the office. I mean, it's work hours now. Yet he's so curious about my negotiation status that it doesn't seem like he's working as usual. I frown at Cody's question. Why do I have to tell you? By the way, did you actually go out for sales rounds today?
Come on, Don't be stingy. Everyone's curious because it's a $10 million deal.
Cody often asks me to hand over my negotiations. It's obvious he's trying to snatch this $10 million deal whenever he gets the chance. Sensing his intentions, I make it clear. I have no intention of telling you about this deal. Sharing too much could lead to information leaks.
As long as it doesn't go outside the company, it's fine, right? Just a little info won't hurt.
That's not the point. You need to draw a clear line even in small matters. It's only natural that clients wouldn't want to deal with an employee who talks carelessly about contract details. This kind of meticulous attitude reflects in our daily negotiations. But Cody, seemingly desperate for the $10 million deal, doesn't back down easily.
Come on, just tell me.
His persistence is irritating, so I say it bluntly. You're being really persistent.
You don't have to be that harsh. We're colleagues after all.
I'm just stating the truth. I said I wouldn't talk, but you're the one pushing.
Fine. It's great being an elite, huh? With all that money, you could share a bit.
Watching him walk away, I sigh. It's not that being an elite makes someone better, but there's no need to hand over negotiations out of kindness. He should reflect on what he's trying to do. Before saying such despicable things, Cody should be making a lot more effort to improve his sales performance. I look at the contract I brought back from Baxter Industries, recalling today's negotiations. It would be great to finalize the $10 million deal with Baxter Industries, but the negotiation is quite tricky. I want to reach a fair contract, but Baxter Industries, being a major company, won't easily compromise. Even so, I listen to Baxter's demands and propose our terms, negotiating to find a mutually beneficial agreement. Finding a middle ground would be ideal, but with their stubbornness, who knows how long it will take to reach a fair contract. After that, I report the progress to the president. Hearing about Baxter Industries' reluctance to compromise, the president also seems concerned. We want to secure the $10 million contract, but Baxter is a company that can afford such an amount, so they remain firm. After finishing my report, I discuss my future prospects with the president. I thought the discussion about my conditions was settled, but the president seems to want to negotiate further. After listening to the president for a while, I leave his office. I want to wrap up the $10 million negotiation quickly, but that doesn't mean I can afford to cut corners. For the next few days, I continued my work smoothly, visiting clients until the incident happened suddenly.
I sealed the deal, man. It's all thanks to me. Now I get that $10 million incentive.
As soon as I returned from my sales rounds, Cody proudly announced to me. I was stunned by his words. It seems Cody did something outrageous while I was off handling another negotiation. Trying to understand the situation, I asked Cody, "What do you mean, Cody?"
Want to know? I'll tell you how I sealed this deal.
Cody then explained the sequence of events. Baxter Industries called Carter Trading about negotiating the $10 million deal today or tomorrow. One of the sales department employees initially took the call, but realizing it was from Baxter Industries, Cody grabbed the phone. Cody then answered that he would go to Baxter Industries today in my place. And so, Cody went to Baxter Industries and, disregarding the careful negotiation I had been conducting, easily closed the deal. I was utterly shocked by his reckless behavior. Seeing my jaw drop, Cody boasted proudly,
Now I'm the top salesperson for the month. Jealous?
But a deal that had been so difficult to negotiate couldn't have been settled so easily. Having dealt with Baxter Industries numerous times, I knew firsthand the complexity of this negotiation. One meeting with Cody wouldn't be enough to finalize a fair contract. I asked Cody, Can I see the contract? There's something I want to check.
What? Are you jealous? Sure, you can look, but don't tear it up.
Of course not. Unlike Cody, I don't resort to jealousy or underhanded tactics. Besides, there's no point in such petty revenge since the contract is backed up in the database. I take the contract from Cody and review its contents. Seeing that the parts I had painstakingly negotiated remain unchanged, I can't help but smirk. If this contract is really finalized, it will lead to significant trouble. Well, whatever. It's not my problem anymore.
What's that? Jealous? Baxter Industries knows a good deal when they see it, huh?
But it's not my concern anymore. I've already discussed my plans with the president once this $10 million deal is done. Since Cody went ahead and closed it, it's out of my jurisdiction. I told Cody I was planning to resign after this negotiation, so it's actually a relief that you took over.
Really? Well, that's convenient then.
Cody seemed surprised to hear I was quitting, but he was more focused on the joy of closing the $10 million deal and didn't care much about my resignation. He thinks this successful deal will bring him a hefty incentive, but I knew it wouldn't turn out that way.
Sorry for leaving you with this $10 million deal.
I said with a hint of sarcasm, knowing Cody was celebrating prematurely. Thanks, man. Now I can quit without any regrets. I wanted no part in the mess that would unfold at Carter Trading. So I briefly informed the president about Cody sealing the $10 million deal and quickly left the company as my planned.
You caused it $10 million loss. What are you going to do about it?
About a week later, Cody called me, sounding panicked. I expected it to be a huge problem, and Cody's reaction confirmed it, making me smirk. I didn't want to get involved, but I was curious about how things went wrong. So I asked him, what exactly happened? Cody began to explain the situation. Apparently, he didn't thoroughly review the contract, blinded by the $10 million figure, and signed it on the spot as Baxter Industries dictated. The contract terms were heavily biased in Baxter's favor, including clauses like cancelable orders at any time, shipping costs borne by Carter Trading, and immediate delivery upon notification. Given Baxter Industries' major company status, their aggressive stance was understandable, but the terms were blatantly unfair. Normally, I would have turned it down, but I didn't want to lose the connection with Baxter Industries or the $10 million deal. That's why the president consulted me about somehow securing this contract in a fair manner, and I took it on, persistently negotiating with Baxter Industries. However, before I could secure fair terms, Cody swooped in and closed the deal without any improvement in the conditions. With Carter Trading Company's current structure, it's impossible to meet the numerous conditions that are overwhelmingly favorable to Baxter Industries. On the other hand, changing our structure to meet Baxter Industries' conditions would be too burdensome and would hurt our profits instead. That means we'd have to cancel the contract, but doing so would require Carter Trading Company to pay a penalty. We don't want to pay the penalty, but we can't keep a contract that we can't fulfill. So Carter Trading Company had no choice but to cancel the contract with Baxter Industries and ended up paying a $10 million penalty. This huge penalty caused a significant financial loss and damaged the trust of Baxter Industries and its group. This was an enormous blow to Carter Trading Company. I'm sure the company was in chaos when this came to light. Knowing this would happen, I resigned from Carter Trading Company before the big trouble started. When the situation was revealed, I, the original person in charge of the contract, was already gone. Having the most suitable person for dealing with this situation already resigned must have been a massive blow to Carter Trading Company. However, Cody was the one responsible for this incident. He acted on his own without going through me. And since the contract was already signed, my presence wouldn't have changed the situation. Above all, it was clearly Cody's fault for making the contract with Baxter Industries without proper authority. So it's unreasonable to ask me to fix it. The president is now consulting with a company lawyer to see if they can reduce the penalty. But given that it was the company's fault, who knows how much they can reduce it by? Seeing the severity of Cody's unauthorized actions, which led to a $10 million penalty and a loss of trust, he was fired. It no longer concerns me since I've left the company, but I think it's a well-deserved outcome. This is why you shouldn't interfere with someone else's contracts.
Why didn't you tell me? I had no idea this deal was so problematic.
Why would I tell you? Your behavior was suspicious, but who would have thought you'd actually steal the contract?
You could have just said that this was a difficult contract and that you were handling it.
Why would I need to spell it out? It's clearly your fault for stealing my contract, and you would have done it anyway, even if I had said something. I said irritably, it's clearly his own fault, yet here he is trying to blame others. Quite the nerve.
Because of you, the president is furious at me, and now I'm getting kicked out of the company. This is a disaster.
That's unfortunate for you.
Damn it, it's all your fault. If you just handed over some of your other deals to me.
Why is he blaming me? The $10 million deal was a special case directly assigned by the president. But generally, negotiations are secured by personally visiting various businesses. However, Cody, who has been slacking off for 20 years since joining the company, might not understand that. When you lack the ability and motivation to do something yourself, you end up relying on others. Even if he feels the urgency of his low sales performance, without the capability and effort, he'll just cling to others.
And why did you quit? If you'd stayed, this wouldn't have happened.
Do I really have to explain everything? But there's no need to hide it. So I tell him, I told you after you closed the deal. I was planning to quit the company anyway.
That's ridiculous. You had a $10 million deal and you just quit.
I planned to stay until the negotiation was finished, but you closed it. I had already discussed my resignation with the president, and I was going to leave Carter Trading Company after the deal. I was being scouted by another company. If the conditions at Carter Trading Company didn't improve, I was going to move. I had been scouted by a major company, Hamilton Trading. They seemed interested in me during my sales rounds and offered me a position, saying, "We'd love to have you." The terms Hamilton Trading offered were very attractive to me. I also wanted the career experience of working at Hamilton Trading. So, while reporting the progress of the $10 million deal, I was negotiating with the president about improving my conditions at Carter Trading Company. I presented the terms from Hamilton Trading to the president, asking for better conditions. The president, considering my performance and the company's situation, proposed several improvements, but none were what I wanted. So, rather than continuing to negotiate with Carter Trading Company, I decided it would be better to join the major company that scouted me. That's why I told the president I would handle the $10 million negotiation, but would resign afterward. I planned to quit after finalizing the $10 million deal, but you wrapped it up for me. Thanks to you, I could leave earlier than expected. I thought it would take more time.
Damn it. Why do you always get the good stuff? Being scouted is so unfair. Who's your connection?
It's not a connection. I got scouted based on my own merit. In the past, I never would have considered working at Hamilton Trading. But no matter how many times I failed, I always reflected on my mistakes and steadily improved my skills, which eventually led to this opportunity at a bigger company. Cody is envious. But since he always looked for easy ways to make money and never showed any ambition since we joined the company, it's no surprise that he never got such chances. If you don't put in any effort, opportunities won't come your way. It's a basic principle, but Cody probably doesn't understand that, having slacked off for 20 years without accomplishing anything. Cody will likely continue to cling to others for his livelihood. It's pathetic, especially in his 40s. Are we done talking? Can I hang up?
Hey, wait, we're not done yet.
Well, I need to call my new employer. Take care, Cody. Even at this point, Cody tries to cling to me, but ignoring him, I hang up the phone.
Got any good job leads? You've already found your next job, right? You're good at this. You must know a lot of great places. Don't keep it to yourself. Help me out.
As soon as I pick up the phone, Cody bombards me with questions. I sigh at Cody's shameless behavior, still trying to latch onto me without reflecting on his own actions. Thinking about having worked with him all this time makes me feel ashamed. Cody graduated from a better university than I did. His initial sales performance was also better than mine for a while. Yet, for the past 20 years, he has been slacking off. And now, he even has a history of being fired from the company. It's unlikely he'll find a place willing to hire him easily. Seeing my exasperation, Cody asked me,
Come on, tell me. Preferably an easy way to make money. Maybe your new job is like that. Get me in with your connections. I'm having a hard time finding work. You're good at this kind of thing, right?
From Cody's perspective, who hasn't put in any effort, I might appear to be a high-achieving elite. He might think I got the job at Hamilton Trading through connections, but he has no idea how much effort it took me to get here. The university I graduated from has a slightly lower ranking than Cody's. In terms of education and talent, Cody should be better than me. But unlike Cody, I have consistently put in the effort. After 20 years, this has created a significant gap between us. I hadn't planned to say anything, but Cody's lack of sincerity, even after being fired, pushes me to speak. I heard you were embezzling funds from Carter Trading.
What?
Cody's voice cracks, clearly not expecting me to know this. Why is Cody so desperate to find a lucrative job? It could be due to his laziness, but there's a more pressing reason, which I learned from a former colleague at Carter Trading. Cody needs to pay back the money he embezzled and is therefore looking for a high-paying job.
How did you find out?
His voice trembling. Cody didn't expect me to point that out. I had thought Cody wasn't very keen on sales and wasn't interested in incentives. But now it makes sense. Due to his actions, Cody has to pay a huge amount in damages. Yet, even now, he hasn't reflected on his actions and is still trying to rely on others to find a job. Has he forgotten why he got fired in the first place? If people know you embezzled funds, of course, you won't find a job. Your bad deeds are probably well known in the industry by now. No one will hire you, even with connections.
That's not true. Companies are lining up to hire me.
Really? Then why are you trying to use my connections to get a job?
Well,
Cody stumbles over his words after hearing my guess. I speak, showing my irritation.
why don't you finally start thinking for yourself and find a job on your own?
Sometimes, relying on others can be a strategy. But if you always rely on others, you'll never be able to do anything by yourself. You'll end up stealing others' contracts to improve your sales or resorting to embezzlement to increase your salary. Eventually, even to find a job to get by, you'll end up begging someone like me for help. Cody has always chosen the easy way out, relying on others and never trying to improve his abilities. That's why he's fallen so far. You should really think about why you got fired.
Yeah, but you could still help me find a job.
Did you forget that you got into this mess by stealing my contract? Cody is at a loss for words. Blinded by the prospect of a large sum of money, Cody recklessly signed a contract, causing huge losses for the company and getting himself fired.
It wasn't my fault. I wanted the incentive too.
Then you should have worked hard for it. This is what happens when you try to take someone else's hard work. Goodbye. I hung up the phone. If Cody had truly reflected on why he got fired, he wouldn't be in this desperate situation, clinging to me for help finding a job. Yet, he doesn't understand and refuses to take responsibility for his actions. There is no point in helping someone like him any further.
You said you'd help me find a good job. Don't be so cold.
It's been about a month since I last spoke with Cody. I was already preparing to start my new job, with my first day approaching soon. Then Cody contacted me. I had been so busy with my preparations that I had completely forgotten about Cody. Given that he's reaching out after a month, I regret not blocking his number. Still, I decided to hear him out, hoping he might have changed.
I can't find a job. If this continues, I won't be able to repay my debt.
What I heard from the phone was Cody's desperate plea. It seems he hasn't found a job since then. He must have borrowed money to pay off the embezzlement compensation, but is now struggling to repay it as the interest mounts. But it's his own fault. If he had put in the effort to improve his sales performance, he wouldn't have been fired. He could have found a job and worked to repay his debts. It's pathetic that he can't do anything for himself, even in a major life crisis.
You're lucky, being able to do anything. Come on, you could share a bit of your luck.
Do you really see it that way?
Of course. I'm jealous of someone like you who gets ahead without any effort.
Cody truly understands nothing. He has no idea how hard I've worked to get to where I am. For the past 20 years, I've never boasted about my efforts. But his clueless remarks finally made me snap. I've worked hard and earned everything on my own. I could tell that Cody was taken aback by my words, even over the phone. I'm not particularly talented, and when we first joined the company, my sales performance was worse than Cody's. But I steadily worked hard, and my sales performance gradually improved. That effort was recognized by other employees, which is why I got scouted by a bigger company. It's frustrating to have my achievements dismissed as mere talent or luck, ignoring the hard work I put in. Did you ever do anything to improve your skills? Cody felt silent. He couldn't argue because he hadn't done anything. Did you work hard, going on sales rounds to improve your performance? No, you didn't. Cody had said he hated sweating it out on sales rounds. He found it too troublesome to improve his sales performance, and even resorted to embezzlement. Now, in his desperate situation, he's trying to rely on others to find a job. Even though he has debts to repay, he still isn't trying to do anything himself. There's no reason for me to show any sympathy to such a man. If you haven't put in any effort, don't ever call me again. This is simply the consequence of always choosing the easy way out and never working hard. Cody stayed silent, so I hung up the phone. After that, Cody tried to rely on others to find a job, but was repeatedly turned down. He even sought help from his parents to repay his debts. But knowing how lazy he had been, they refused to help and kicked him out of their house. It turns out that Cody had also stolen deals from other employees and borrowed money without repaying it, making his situation even worse than I knew. With a record of embezzlement, he couldn't find a full-time job, and having relied on others for work, had no achievements to boast of. He ended up taking a low-paying part-time job. Looking for an easy job is fine, but you can't neglect effort. If you try to rely on others for everything, you'll be helpless when it matters most. It's a good lesson that you need to think and work for yourself. Afterward, I started working at Hamilton Trading. While I enjoyed working at Carter Trading Company, moving to Hamilton Trading improved my conditions and enhanced my career. Naturally, my salary also increased, making my family happy. When I first joined the company 20 years ago, I struggled to improve my performance because I wasn't very efficient. But I reflected on my failures, learned new things, and gradually improved my sales performance over a long time. By consistently working hard, I gained the trust of my boss, was entrusted with important contracts, and could move to a better company. Efforts might not always yield immediate results, but they will eventually pay off. That's why I won't consider working hard a hassle. I'll continue to strive to improve my skills and career.